Hello and welcome to FPL Mate, your best mate for Fantasy Premier League content for the 2019-20 season. My name is Dan, and like probably a lot of you guys, I've often found myself wondering, what would it be like if Lionel Messi was in the Premier League and playing in FPL? Well, it looks like we might not have to ask that question for too much longer, as Messi has submitted his transfer request. He's trying to push through to leave Barcelona on a free, which really could happen. The bookies reckon he's definitely leaving Barcelona. He's odds on to leave Barcelona. And the number one team that is targeting Messi, the most likely team that he's going to end up in, apparently, they've already put in a little bit already, is Manchester City. Of course, it could also be Chelsea, it could also be Manchester United, but the chances of Messi coming to the Premier League are looking pretty high, actually, pretty high indeed, which means he is going to be in FPL. So today we're going to be having a little look at what that's going to mean. What were Messi's stats in last season? Sort of analyse them. How do those stats translate into FPL points? Where will he sit amongst the rankings of FPL players? And what kind of impact is he going to have? How much is he going to cost? Are we going to be able to fit him into our teams? And all the stuff like that. So yeah, that's the kind of thing we're going to be talking about today. Loads and loads of stuff, interesting stuff about Messi in FPL. What would happen if that were to happen. So yeah, if you do enjoy this video, please do leave a like. Please do consider subscribing if you like this kind of stuff, FPL videos, that kind of thing. Plenty more FPL stuff to come, of course, to try and help you do your best for your FPL teams and win your mini league. So let's start off by looking at Messi's position, because I think this is the best way to start. We've got to figure out, is Messi a forward or a midfielder? So if you look at the sort of areas that Messi occupies, Transfer Market reckons that he is primarily a winger, a right winger, which I think is pretty accurate. So we always, when we look at the players where they're going to be positioned in FPL, if they play out wide, they're a midfielder. If they play centrally and very far forward, they're a forward. You'll see that sort of Aubameyang and Salah, they've been converted for Aubameyang has been converted from a forward to a winger because he is playing out wide. Salah, although he does drift in a lot and plays a lot around the box, his starting position and his primary position is out wide. And I think that's probably the best comparison to Messi, really, Salah, because they do occupy sort of similar positions in a way, although Messi does, play a little bit more all around the pitch and just go everywhere, but he stays forward and he cuts inside rather than sticking out wide. So yeah, I think if Salah and Aubameyang are counted as midfielders, I think Messi, based on his average position, based on his starting position, he's got to be considered a midfielder as well, which means a hell of a lot of points for goals. Obviously, midfielders get 1 extra point for every goal they score, so yeah, that's going to factor in. So speaking of goals they scored, let's have a look at Messi's stats for the La Liga 2019-20 season. I think this is the best way of judging what kind of a score Messi might have. Although Barcelona had a slightly disappointing campaign, well, probably actually a very disappointing campaign. That's why Messi wants to leave. So Messi played a part in 33 games. He did have a little injury problem at the beginning of the season and only played a couple of half games at the beginning of the season too. So yeah, 33 games played, 25 goals during those 33 league games and 21 assists. So these stats look insane, but this isn't even Messi's best season, not even close, to be honest. It's actually a pretty poor season from him, but those 25 goals and the 21 assists, that people don't often think about. How many assists does Messi get? Well, the answer last season was 21, so that is an insane amount of goal contributions. It's well over a goal contribution a game, which we already know this is going to mean a lot of FPL points. So let's have a look just how many FPL points that will be. So the way we're going to do this is, every time a player plays in 60 minutes or more in a game, they get 2 points. Every time a player plays less than 60 minutes in a game, they get 1 point. So 31 times Messi's played 60 minutes or more, so 31 times 2, and that's 62. And then add 2 games where Messi only played less than 60 minutes. I think he only played sort of half a game in each of those games, so 1 point for each of those, totaling 64. So for minutes played, he's already on 64 points, so good start there. Now we get to the big boy, points for goals. He scored 25 goals at 5 points per goal by FPL point scoring system. That's 125 just from goals alone, so that's That's pretty insane. Most players don't even hit near 125 points, and Messi's done it just on the goals he's scored. Then we're going to add in assists. 21 assists times 3 points per assist. That's 63 points there. So we already, you can tell this is getting pretty big. Then we've still got clean sheets to come in, 14 clean sheets, so a game in which Messi has played 60 or more minutes where his team didn't concede. So that's 14 times 1 point for the clean sheet as midfielders get. So that's another 14 points. And then finally, we've got to take it back a little bit. Points for yellow cards. He got 4 yellow cards across the season. So 4 times the -1 point you get for a yellow card, which is -4, which totals 262. Now, if you want to look at how that would fit in last season, and how many points that would make him, well, where would Messi fit in the table of top scorers last season? Well, Messi would be top. He would be beating Kevin De Bruyne, who got 251 points, so he'd be beating him by 11 points. He's beating Salah, Mane, Vardy, all of these players by a considerable amount. I mean, he's got sort of 60 points on Aubameyang, so we're talking, you know, an extra 20% amount of points on someone like Aubameyang, who is, you know, a really good player. Sterling, an extra 20% more points than Sterling. Martial, Ings. So look at this table. This is where Messi sits, right at the top. But some of you with keener perception might have noticed that we haven't even thought about bonus points yet. It's really difficult to speculate about bonus points unless I go through and look at the entire stats and watch the game of every single La Liga match, which obviously I can't do. I haven't got time for that. But I've sort of made a rough estimate based on other players, what kind of bonus points they got along with their sort of scores. So Messi would probably get around 30 or 40 bonus points, but that is speculation. So I think what we've got to do is take away all of the bonus points from the Premier League players, and then see how Messi's score looks like against all of the top scoring players in FPL minus bonus points. So let's have a look at that. So, yeah, so Messi on 262, as we know. Kevin De Bruyne now is on 216 in second place. So now Messi is sort of 20% better than the highest scoring player in the entire Premier League last season. Wow. Sort of over 50 points more than Salah, over 60 points, sort of 70 points almost more than Mane in the 4th place. And yeah, if you just look down this table and see, if when you go to the 10th player, you've got 100 more points than sort of 10th and 9th top scoring players if he was included in this list. So yeah, I hope that demonstrates just how many points Messi he would get in the Premier League. I know you can say, well, maybe the Premier League is a little bit more difficult of a league to play in, but you've got to remember Messi didn't even have his best season, and even if you want to take away 10% of his amount of points, he's still by far going to be the highest scoring player. So there really is no doubt that Messi, based on what he produces regularly every season, even on a bad season, he is still absolutely smashing every single other player in FPL. So yeah, I hope that helps sort of visualises it a little bit. So the next question is how much would he cost? How much would Messi cost? So the current most expensive player in FPL right this very second is Salah, Mane and Aubameyang, the 3 midfielders, all of them at 12 million. So you would expect at the very minimum Messi would be more than 12 million. I think that's reasonable. But how far would you go? 12.5, I think, you know, if you put Messi in as 12.5, then everyone puts him in the team. There's no question about it. 13 million, I think, is a little bit more reasonable, but still at 13 million, Messi would be absolutely essential. Everyone would have to have Messi to stand a chance. So I think the minimum really has to be 13.5 million for a player like Messi, but I would predict actually more like 14 million, which is actually the joint record for a price of a player in FPL. So Thierry Henry has been 14 million before, Cristiano Ronaldo has been 14 million before, and even Robin van Persie, when he had that amazing season, he was 14 million as well. So if you want to look at it in the context of previous players, I would say that a 33-year-old Messi is sort of at least got to be worth in FPL the same as a Thierry Henry, a Cristiano Ronaldo in their sort of prime, Van Persie in their prime, definitely. So yeah, I think 14 million is probably the right price because it gives you something to think about. It makes you think, should I be spending this much money on a player? Because if he is less than sort of 13.5, 14 million, it's just a case of everyone has him in your team, and that's pretty boring. So this is what we're going to talk about on the impacts of FPL. So, I mean, I think we can all agree that there's a good chance Messi could be the highest ever scoring FPL player. I think there's a good chance. The highest point scoring in recent memory is Salah in 17-18. He got 303 points. If you go too much further back than sort of 2012, 2011, then the point scoring system was slightly different, so it's harder to make an accurate comparison. But sort of in the last 8 years, Salah at 303 points, he was the highest point scorer. So yeah, I think Messi can challenge 303 points based on last season. I think he near enough matches that, but we don't know exactly if it will be a little bit better if he's in a stronger team. Would it be a little bit worse because he's in a harder league? I don't know. But there's a good chance he's the most expensive of the players. Good chance he's the highest scoring player ever. But the problem is, everyone's going to have him in their teams, and everyone is going to captain him every week, which is the real thing. And that's going to make FPL pretty boring, if I'm honest. It really is going to be boring because everyone's just going to have the same captain every week. Everyone's going to have to build a team around Messi every week. And yeah, it's not going to be quite as interesting because no one's, even when Manchester City, for example, if Messi signed for Manchester City, even if they had a really difficult game against, Manchester United, or against Liverpool, everyone would still captain Messi because he's Messi, because he is so magical of a player that he can do anything. So it would be really, really boring and really bad for FPL if I'm totally honest. I know it's really exciting, the idea of him being in, but when we're actually in it, it would kind of suck that everyone was doing the same thing, but it sort of takes away the variety a little bit, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But we'd still have to do it. We'd all have to bring him in. We'd all have to captain him, and we'd all pick up his many points. And anyone who deviates from Messi, anyone who tries to be clever and chooses someone else, well, they'll get punished for it, won't they? But yeah, if Messi is a really expensive player, I guess something that could be quite interesting is that you'd have to be a lot smarter about picking the rest of your team. You'd have to sort of pick the right players who are cheaper, because you would be on a much more constrained budget. You wouldn't have as much money to spend in other areas of the pitch, so you'd have to be really smart about the sort of budget players that you're picking. And that's sort of my last point, really. And if you are looking for some great budget players, if you want some sort of FPL tips, then you're in the right place. If Messi comes to the Premier League, you're definitely in the right place here, because I'm always talking about what budget players I like the look of and stuff like that, and predicting who's going to play well. So hopefully I can give you the advantage in your mini leagues, help you win your mini leagues, help you improve your rank, sort of thing. And if Messi comes into the Premier League, I think we're all going to need a little bit of help. Even me, I'll be certainly watching other YouTubers and looking up stats constantly. I'll be non-stop researching, trying to get the best out of the rest of my team, because that is going to be a bit of a challenge, and hopefully I can help you there. So do consider subscribing if you are into that sort of thing. Turn on notifications and all that jazz. But that's the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, I know it's slightly different to what I usually do. I usually are all hardcore stats, who to pick in your fantasy teams. This is a bit more of a fun, informational video, I guess. Yeah, like the video if you enjoyed it. Please do stick around if you are into this kind of thing. If you want to join my mini league, the code is in the description. If you want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram, all links in the description. And that's pretty much it. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I really do hope I see you on the next one, and I'll see you later, mates. Bye bye.